Yo guys, what is up? Today I'm going to be bringing you the team analysis versus the Venice Victinis, the week 6 opponents of the GPC. My opponent is also known as Flame Dog or Alexander Tyler. So if you want to take him out, his links will be down in the description below, so not himself, of course. But yeah, his links will be down in the description below. He's a really cool guy. He's currently higher than me on the spread on the league table, so definitely an opponent that's worthy of the playoff spot as of now. Hopefully he will keep it up. But yeah, he'll have to prove that against me for now. My team, at least his team, you will probably see it on the team. I'm at least on the screen. I'm gonna look it up for myself right now because I don't know it by the top of my head. His team consists of Victini, Mega Pinsir, Zygarden, Fortress, Bluezy, Frisian, Electros, Tentacle, and Golurk. Basically, that team is pretty scary. He obviously has the defensive and the offensive cores there. The defensive core basically the biggest defensive core that you obviously see right away is the Fortress and the Bluezy. That's a really kind of standard-ish defensive core, but it's a defensive core nonetheless that I have to be prepared for. I think it's a really good defensive core against my team. I have one thing that really breaks that. That's Cambuur. But other than that, I really have trouble dealing with that core. But yeah, he has a lot of offensive checks as well. I think Mega Pinsir is good versus my offense. I have Scolopede, which Mega Pinsir keeps in check. It keeps in check Cambuur, which I'm also definitely gonna have to bring to beat that core of his defensive core. So that's a really scary one. Victini is always very good. Can be choice banded, can be choice card, can be a substitute set, it can be 4 attacks, it can be anything, and it's always going to be putting in the work. So that's kind of a threat. Zygarden is usually a decent threat. I think I can deal with it decently well because of my Clefable. However, with U-turn, it's always difficult to switch into and not give it like momentum. So I have to be wary of that. Fortress gets Volt Switch, so I have to be prepared to potentially switch in something on a Volt Switch and then basically get countered by one of his mons that he prepared for my team. And Electros is kind of a defensive mon that's also really annoying. It can basically check anything. It can be an offensive Electros as well and still bulky enough to live any hit of mine that I want to throw at it at full health. So you have to be wary of that. Frisian, I am really not sure that he's going to bring it, but if he does, then he might be some kind of weird set potentially. Maybe a setup Frisian, but I have a lot of checks to Frisian, so I really doubt that he's going to bring it, but he might. I guess if he does, then he's going to have some trick up his sleeve, because yeah. Obviously, you can see my team on the screen, and you can probably see for yourself why Frisian isn't the best versus my team. Tentacle is always a possibility. Yeah, I think he might bring it. I don't. The 6 mon that I predict him to bring, he's predicting to bring are Fortress, Victini, Electros, Pinsir, Bluezy, and Zygarden. So Tentacle isn't in there, but I definitely think that Tentacle could be coming over Zygarden as a viable 7th/6th choice. And last but not least is Golurk. I'm not really expecting Golurk, however, it can be potentially doing stuff if he plays it well. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, onto my team preparation real quick. I built this team really fast because if you've seen my update video, then you know that I really have a lack of time at this point in my life, and also my motivation hasn't been the best. So I basically built a team really quickly and hoped for it to do as well as it potentially does, or as bad as it potentially does. But yeah, I basically built this team as fast as I could, at least as good as I could in a short amount of time, and hoped for it to win. So yeah, we'll see in a bit if that actually worked. However, the preparation that I made was starting out with Aerodactyl, because Aerodactyl is my guaranteed check counter-ish thing towards Mega Pinsir. As you can see on the screen, Aerodactyl is a defensive-ish Aerodactyl. It's basically meant to be defensive Aerodactyl. The speed investment is there to outspeed base of 100 before I Mega Evolve, because I'm really paranoid about Mega Evolution. So yeah, this is there before Mega Evolution, the speed. That might be completely useless, but it also might be able to save me the game, or to save me Aerodactyl, which might save me the game. So yeah, I kind of offered to I kind of like sacrificed a lot of bulk for the speed to guarantee me to make evolve up safely. The HP investment and the defense investment are basically there because I want this to be the pincer counter. I think pincer is definitely a good check to my offense to Ember and Scolipede, so I definitely know that it's gonna come. I think he has to bring it to check those mods specifically. I have two really good checks, at least good counters, good switches to my team, on my team to a pincer, which are Bronzong and Aerodactyl. However, I'm not bringing Bronzong as you can see on the team. The reason for that is because it would have been my last mon. However, I want to block Volt Switches, so I have +1 instead. That's basically why there's no Bronzong, because I basically don't have the room for Bronzong. So Aerodactyl has to be defensive to check the pincer better, and to also check the Victini if he's physical. If it's special, I can definitely take a hit and check it decently as well. But yeah, this I gave the aerial ace to be able to hit Frisian. It's not necessary to hit Frisian, but I really want, just in case he does bring Frisian, I want to have that check. And I also want just to have that guaranteed hit move, because aerial ace obviously cannot miss, but the rock stab and rock slide and stone edge can miss. So yeah, that's something that would probably be better, because if I want to check Victini, if I want to check well, basically Victini for the main reason, and I also want to have Electros not be the very obvious switch into Aerodactyl, then I would have gone for rock slide or stone edge in that move slot. But I opted to go with aerial ace. Defensive with aerial ace, Roost, Taunt, and Stealth Rocks. The Stealth Rocks are there because his offense in Mega Pincer Victini really get hurt by Stealth Rocks very decently. So I want Stealth Rocks up for those to get him in range of my other attacks. Roost is there for the longevity, also just for Volt Switches or like T-Bolts or any other electric move or rock move or whatever. I can roost off the damage and have them not be super effective against me, so I might potentially be able to lift the hit or just keep Aerodactyl alive for a little bit longer, because it is really important for the Mega Pincer and potentially for the Victini as well. So yeah. He has two obvious switch-ins to this, which are Fortress and Electros. So I have to be a little bit wary about those, because yeah, they are problems, especially Fortress. Fortress can really switch into a lot of mods on my team. So I have to be really careful about that. And Electros is a little bit annoying to my team as well. So yeah. The next one on my team is Ember. Ember is a Payapa Berry superpower substitute Earthquake Flower Blitz Ember. The reason why I'm Payapa Berry is for the Victini, but the reason, like, basically Ember is not built to lure in Victini and just kill it with an Earthquake. By the way, the reason why I have Earthquake over like Head Smash is because I don't want more recall because I'm a substitute set, and also because I want to hit super effective damage to Tentacle and to Victini, and not just one of the two, because I would have either been Head Smash or Wild Surge for them. But the reason why I'm Payapa Berry is in case he does not bring the defensive core of Bluezy and Fortress. If he brings more offensive team, then I want the Payapa Berry to be able to just lure in the Victini and then kill it. So I want Ember to be like a versatile mon. I don't want it to be useless against offense if he just brings that. But if he brings defense in that core that I just mentioned a few times already, I'm not going to use it as a Payapa Berry lure for the Victini, because I want this to be as healthy as possible and potentially even get a substitute against him, because Ember is usually, at least sometimes, a likely choice core for a choice bench user. So I might be able to play off a choice variant of Ember and can get a substitute up against this team and potentially get more kills than just the one that I would have gotten if I didn't have the substitute. So yeah. Also, the substitute prevents him from just KOing me back or revenge killing me with like a pincer. So if he plays a little bit too reckless, then I might be able to get rid of one of his offensive checks to Ember, because yeah, basically he has a really difficult time switching into Ember. Meaning that if I get a momentum, or if I use Ember well, then I might be able to get a lot of kills with it or put a lot of pressure on his team with it. So yeah. Next is Scolipede. Oh, by the way, the reason why this is 176 HP is because substitutes and Seismic from Bluezy, so I can more easily and more reliably set up a substitute against it. Don't really have to risk the superpower or the Flare Blitz prediction, so yeah. And the 80 in speed is there to be able to live a life orbed Hydreigon's Draco Meteor from full health, and also there was something else, but I don't really remember, so my bad for that. But yeah, that's basically the Embor set. I didn't think I need speed because I outspeed his defensive score easily, and his offense easily outspeeds my Embor, and probably will outspeed it even if I was speed invested. So yeah, and I don't think he's gonna speed creep me because there's no reason to do so. I think at least he might be able to. He might do it with like Fortress or with Bluezy. However, that will cost him a lot of bulk, which he kind of needs as well. So yeah, Scolipede is really good versus offense. It's not my win condition, not at all. It's kind of there to break the team a little bit if necessary. However, he does have a little bit of a decent counter to it in Fortress. So before Scolipede can really do a lot of work, I need Fortress to be taken care with, or at least done a lot of damage against. Also, he has Mega Pincer, which can easily revenge kill it, so it's not that crucial. But hopefully, I will be able to use it very well against his offense, because it's definitely there to scare out his offense and potentially make it up switches to Embor from Scolipede to just get the momentum on the team again. So yeah. Next up is Latias. By the way, this set is really standard. Earthquake for the Tentacruel and Victini and such. Poison Jab to just hit the Pincer for normal damage. I kind of want a Rock Slide to potentially stop a Pincer switching. Although I opted to go for Earthquake because this was my best answer to Tentacruel. Because before the Earthquake on Embor, I had Head Smash, and I didn't change this to Rock Slide instead. So yeah. Doesn't really matter in the game anyway. So, but Poison Jab is there for the Pincer as a switch in. Then I can Poison Jab, but it can just do a lot of neutral damage to his team anyway. And Mega Horn is there for the Hydreigon. It does the best damage if I just want to go for Mega Horn against like Bluezy. So yeah, that's why I have a Mega Horn in the last slot. And the Protect, because if necessary, I want to go for the Protect and I want to get my speed up if I'm facing like a Choice Score Victini. If his Choice Score Victini with Jolly, he still outspeeds me after 1+ speed boost. But I'm willing to take that risk, and that's why I'm going Element over Jolly on my Scolipede. So next up is Latias. Latias is really crucial for the speed. For stuff like Frisian, it's really crucial to be able to just KO it. And shit is also really nice for the Pincer because I outspeed the Pincer. For the Victini, I outspeed the Victini as his Choice Craft. And a lot of his offense can basically not outspeed Latias. So I really want Latias on this team. I'm running Hidden Power Fire, Sideshock, Draco Meteor, and Defog on Latias. The Defog is there for the Fortress because it can potentially be it can potentially be a hazard stacking Fortress or a lead Fortress, which is why I want Defog, because if I don't opt to go for Stealth Rocks for myself in the first turns, I can defog away his hazards and I can be a happy bunny. Hidden Power Fire is for Fortress specifically. The Sideshock and the Draco are there for the coverage, the stab moves and shit. The Draco Plate is because I don't want to be revealing like a life orb. If necessary or if possible, I want him to be lured into the full sense of me bleeding like a Choice Craft, Latias if possible. And I can potentially break his team with the Draco Meteor. Maybe if he relies on rolls, on Sideshock maybe, then I can kill him with the Draco Meteor. If the Draco Plate boost actually does the damage that's necessary. But yeah, really standard. The speed is enough to outspeed his base 108 mon. And yeah, it's like a really nice switch into Victini as well. I live any hit he wants to go for. U-turn from a bandit Victini obviously hurts, but I can still live it. And yeah, it's a decent check and a decent offensive check to a lot of his teams. So yeah. Clefable. Clefable is a really annoying Clefable set. This Clefable set I should have brought against my week 4 opponent, which I've talked about in my updates part of the video. I really should have brought the Clefable in that thing, and I would have 6-0'd him, but I didn't. Alas, in the words of the Shroom Raver, which, yeah, side note. But yeah, I brought this set in this game nonetheless. By the way, that would have been unaware. This is Magic Card. But yeah, I think that it can do really well. Also the Hydreigon check, because the Barbarian Berry on Clefable is a really standard way of dealing with Hydreigons. So Moonblast for the Hydreigon specifically, because I might not have been able to deal with the Hydreigon if I didn't carry the Moonblast on this Clefable set. The Star Power. The Store Power is there for the boost with the Cosmic Power. The best answer for Clefable is a choice Trick Choice Victini, or Bluezy that's still alive. Both of them can deal with Clefable, so I have to get rid of both of them for Clefable to like really sweep. Also, because I'm not unaware, I have to be careful about his setup mons because they can still set up faster than my custom powers can set up. So yeah, I have to be a little bit worried about that. And last but not least, it's going to be Paloswine. And Paloswine is an Ice Shard Toxic Earthquake Hit Power Fire Paloswine. This is there mainly for the Volt Switch immunity. I don't want to give him too much momentum, so I really needed Paloswine because he could have been able to Volt Switch freely against my team, and I didn't want that to happen, so yeah. Also, the Ice Shard is really useful because Ice Shard priority kind of hurts his team a lot. And from an adamant Paloswine, it actually hurts his team quite a bit as well. This also really nicely lures in Fortress, and I can hit it with a Hit Power Fire and do around 50% damage. So yeah, I will be able to weaken it very quickly, which is nice for Scolipede, it's nice for Aerodactyl, it's nice for Clefable. So that's the game plan with Paloswine. I think this is actually something that lures in Fortress as well, so I think this can... I'm not even doubting the fact that Hidden Power Fire is going to be used against Fortress because I don't really see any other switch into Paloswine on his team. It is not a logical switch in unless he knows my full move set. The Toxic is there for Electros, which is, I guess, his potential other switch in. And Electros is a problem for my team. The only things that really can do a lot of damage per sit are like Cambuur and I guess Latias, maybe, yeah. I guess Scolipede as well, but yeah, I'm really expecting the Electros to have like Knockoff, Giga Drain, Knockoff, Giga Drain, Volt Switch, and Flamethrower / Acid Spray. So yeah, the Knockoff of course for Latias and Paloswine, which are the obvious switch-ins. The Giga Drain for the Paloswine, the Acid Spray for Clefable potentially, and the Flamethrower for Scolipede or something, yeah. And yeah, that's basically why I had this Paloswine set. It's max HP, max attack, because it's still really bulky on the special and physical side to be able to live a lot of hits. And the Earthquake is a nice step for something like Bluezy if I want to stay in against Bluezy and do the damage. It does around 45%, so it's really nice damage. 40 to 45%, I think, so yeah. But that's basically the whole Paloswine set. I don't think I really have much to add. The things that I'm really fearing on his team are like a Choice Victini, because with the trick it can cripple my Clefable. It also can, if it is trick Victini and it hasn't tricked my Clefable yet, it can still be annoying. The other things I'm really kind of afraid of is like an offensive Fortress or an offensive Bluezy. They can kind of surprise me and potentially KO my my easiest ways of dealing with it. So if he's creative with those mons, then he can potentially surprise me and do a lot of damage. And I kind of Electros is kind of a huge annoyance to my team, so I kind of want to get rid of that before I can safely like set up or sweep or whatever. Oh, I'm a bit tired, sorry. So yeah, that's basically it. Yo guys, what is up? We are back with the battle versus Flamedog, our coach of the Venice Victinis, also known as Alexander Taylor. Links to his shit will be down in the description below, so feel free to check that shit out because it's good shit. But I'm gonna quickly go into the game because this video is quite long with the team analysis and all together into it, so yeah. His team consists of Mega Pinsir, Hydreigon, Victini, Electros, Fortress, and Bluezy. So basically, my prediction of his team was spot on. It was completely 100% correct, so that's nice. That means that I prepared for the correct things, so yeah, that's always good, unless he's like very surprising sets that could potentially throw me off guard. But yeah, it's usually really nice when you prepare for the correct team and you don't get surprised with like 5 out of the 6 months that the opponent brings. So yeah, I'm gonna lead off with my Paloswine, and the reason why I lead off with Paloswine is because before the match started, I kind of want to lead off with Cambuur because I figured that a likely lead for like this type of team, at least these 6 months, would be Fortress. However, I would also kind of expect him to predict that Fortress, predict me to predict him to lead with Fortress, because Fortress is his best stealth rocker, I want to say. I mean, Bluezy can get stealth rocks, Pinsir can get stealth rocks, but Fortress is the most logical stealth rocker, or at least hazard setter on the team. Meaning that I kind of predicted him to potentially predict my Cambuur lead. And if it wasn't going to be Cambuur, I predicted him to have potentially the Aerodactyl lead for the stealth rocks. So I kind of predicted him to go with something to deal with both of these two months as a lead. Which is why I went with Pilot Swine, because I figured that the best lead for him would be something along the lines of either Fortress or the Victini. And yeah, for both of them, Pilot Swine was actually a really good lead, because Pilot Swine can live any hit from Victini, and against the Fortress I can hit a Power Fire it. So yeah, that's really nice. And he actually leads off with the Fortress. So yeah, I guess if I would have gotten, if I would have led up with Aerodactyl, I would have had to switch because Pierre and the Zygarden and shit. But if I led up with the Emboar, I would have probably switched as well because of the potential custom lead Fortress, which I didn't want to face. So, but yeah, he turns out to be a normal leftovers variant. Just the standard variant which I expected him to bring. And hit power fighter is over 50%, so that's really nice. There's no reason for me not to go for another one because he is not getting to hit goat bait because of the leftovers. But he's now really weakened, and that's fantastic. Against the Electros, I switch out, and the reason why I switch out is basically because Piloswan is kind of the lure for the Electros, because I obviously want to Toxic it. But I knew for a fact that his play was going to be either Knockoff or Giga Drain, because those were the two moves that would make a lot of sense against a Piloswine. However, he doesn't go for that. I'm predicting one of those two moves is obviously going to Emboar, because the Piappa Berry is not crucial at all for me. I expect to get damage, I expect to get a substitute up in this game, meaning that I cannot live Zen Headbutt from a Victini or a Psychic from a Victini. So the Piappa Berry is completely not useful to me. Because I have different ways of dealing with Victini anyway. Which is why I switch in Emboar on the Electros. And he goes for an Acid Spray. So that's really annoying for Emboar, because I don't want to stay in, because Emboar is crucial to my win. Because of his defensive core of Fortress and Bluezy. So I switch back out into Piloswine, just expect him to go for a Volt Switch. The damage on Emboar would have been not good. I wouldn't have wanted that. And knowing that he's likely gonna go for a Giga Drain or Knockoff right here, I am just gonna go for Toxic. Knowing that I don't want to be in the same scenario where I'm gonna have to switch out Emboar, or maybe he predicting that, and etc. etc. I knew I could live a Giga Drain or Knockoff very easily. Unfortunately, I get critted by the Giga Drain, so that's kind of annoying. However, it doesn't kill me, so it's not that big of a deal. And I showed crits, and the following turn the Emboar's Flare Blitz crits as well. So I don't think any of them really mattered, but it's kind of like defense crits. So yeah. But yeah, like already spoiled, the Emboar goes for the Flare Blitz on the following turn, getting rid of Electro, so that's really nice. His Volt Switcher is gone. He does have another Volt Switcher potentially in Fortress, but the main Volt Switcher is gone, his Electros. Meaning that for Aerodactyl, the best switch in for now for him on his team is going to be Fortress, but because Fortress is already kind of weakened, it's not the easiest switch in, because he might expect me obviously to run the Firefang or anything, so yeah. That's really nice for me, having the Fortress weakened and the Electros gone. But yeah, as you can see, he brings in Hydreigon. He goes for Dragon Meteor, switches out because I have a Clefable. Luckily for me, doesn't predict it. I didn't expect him to predict him with the Flash Cannon, because I had Emboar in, and it was kind of risky, I guess. Maybe not, but I still had the Babiri Bear, so I wasn't really worried. But I make a double switch out into Emboar, and I make a substitute play, because I figured that he might expect me to be a choice locked variant, and also it's kind of really safe, because if it's like Seismic Dust, then I can easily just lift these Seismic Dust because of my HP investment, and I can just continue from there. And here he makes kind of a questionable play, I want to say. Basically, the previous turn he switched into Fortress, kind of expecting me to go for Superpower, and obviously Fortress would have been able to lift it quite easily. And with the attack drops and defense drops and shit, then he potentially would have been able to live a second one as well, I'm not sure. However, that doesn't happen, and he doesn't have any switch-ins to the combination of fire and fighting. So, well, he does have Victini, but I have Earthquake, and potentially Head Smash. He doesn't know that, he doesn't want to risk Victini. So he sacks off his Fortress, which is really nice, because like I said in the team analysis, Aerodactyl, the only two things that really hurt Aerodactyl or that really annoy Aerodactyl are just gone now. So that's fantastic. However, he brings back in the Bluezy on the following turn, and I didn't really expect that. I didn't really see why. I am gonna stay in, because Emboar is really the only use for Emboar is versus this Bluezy. It's not useful against his Victini or his Hydreigon or his pincer because it's built to just deal with his defense and not with his offense. So I stay in, not really expecting him to be a choice score hyper voice set or whatever he potentially might have been. But yeah, that works out for me because I kill it. He might have also used this as a superpower fodder for the attack drop because as you can see on the following turn he switches in Hydreigon and he can live the superpower. As you can see, he lives on 4 or 6%. I'm not really sure. He goes for the Draco Meteor, breaking my substitute, and as you can see, I kill him, at least bring him down to 4%, so that's really nice. He played his Hydreigon like a choice Corver, so I expect him to be a choice Corver, and I expect him to switch out in the following turn, figuring that my Clefable was going to be a really nice and easy switch in. However, I don't lose anything by staying in with Cambuur, and luckily for me, he didn't predict me staying with Cambuur because it kind of was an obvious play staying in, I think. I didn't risk anything because Cambuur wasn't going to be useful against all of the other mons in his team, so that's really why. So I stayed in, get some nice damage off with the Earthquake. Obviously doesn't do too much because it's not Reckless boosted and I do have an attack drop, so but the damage is nice nonetheless. On the following turn I go for the Aerodactyl, go for the Mega Evolution, so I am now outspeeding all of his team unless it's Choice Scarfed Hydreigon or Choice Scarfed Victini. I go for his Stealth Rocks, he nicely switches in on his Hydreigon on his Stealth Rocks, probably expecting the Stealth Rocks, maybe as a sec potentially, but I think he expected the Stealth Rocks. And he goes for a Draco Meteor, and here I expect him to go for a Flash Cannon, which is why I switched in Scolipede. To be fair, Scolipede, the only use for Scolipede was against this Hydreigon and against the Victini, and even for those I needed to have them not be Scarfed, and I needed to, well, I guess Hydreigon if he's timid so Scarfed I still outspeed it if I'm adamant Scolipede, but Victini, Jolly or timid Scarfed Victini I don't outspeed it except for the Protect boosted twice, Protect boosted if I like Speed boosted twice, with the help of Protect more than likely. However, the Pincer really checks it really easily, and yeah, I kind of hope to bait out Pincer for the Aerodactyl and shit, so that's why I went into Scolipede. That was the best case scenario. However, he predicts that likely, and goes for the Draco Meteor, expecting me to not go into the Clefable on the predicted Flash Cannon, which was a really, I guess, an obvious play, which would have been an obvious play because I had the Aerodactyl in, so Flash Cannon would have been like a no. Like a brainless play, I want to say, but he obviously gave it a little bit more thought and knew that I was gonna make a different switch than the Clefable, which is why he went for the Draco Meteor. But now that means that with a -2 special attack and likely Scarfed Hydreigon, I can set up the Clefable. However, he turns out to not be choice Scarfed, and he goes for the Flash Cannon. Does a whopping 11%, but that's really nice and really fun. And again, I get set up Cosmic Powers, and at this point he switched in Pincer because Pincer is his best way and possibly his only way of beating this Clefable. He has to, I'm gonna pause it again, my apologies, but he has to bank on me not being unaware Clefable, which I am not in fact. So, but knowing that he's gonna set up against me because he can live a Moonblast because I'm not boosting my special attack, he can live a what's it called, like Store Power because I don't have too many boosts up. He can live any of them and he still outspeeds me, so I know that for a fact he's going to go for the setup move. He's going to go for the Sword Sense. I know that he likely carries the Stone Edge, expecting me to be a defensive Aerodactyl, but he cannot go for the Stone Edge against the Clefable because if he does and I stay in, and he loses. So knowing that he's going to set up, I'm going to go into Aerodactyl, waste my boosts, but I haven't free switched into Aerodactyl and I have some damage on his Pincer right here. And also I can just force it out and get a kill with Aerodactyl now, because Aerodactyl doesn't really have switch-ins because of the typing that Aerodactyl has and yeah, the speed that Aerodactyl has. And he sacks off the Hydreigon because it's not choice scarfed, it doesn't really do anything for him. My Latias outspeeds it, my Clefable deals with it kind of well still, so yeah, a really good sack for him. He brings in Victini right here, turns out he's choice scarfed Victini. As I stay and go for the Aerial Ace, the Bolt Strike for Victini was a really high roll, but my Aerial Ace was a near max roll as well. So luckily for me, they didn't do too much damage because that could have been really crucial. If that was a crit, then I would have been in a bad scenario. So I kind of disagree with myself, staying in with the Aerodactyl on the Victini. I should have gone into Latias because Latias could have left any hit, even if he went for the U-turn. He would have gone into pincer, but I would have outsped it. So the best play would have been going into Latias, but I didn't. I stayed in with Aerodactyl trying to kill the Victini, and it could have gone. I don't think I could have lost, but it could have ended up in me winning 2-0 instead of 3-0. At the worst possible scenario. But as you can see, I won the week 6 game against Flamedog. So yeah, that's really nice actually. That's really helps me being motivated for Pokemon again. So that's fantastic. That means that I am in fact in the top half of the. Well, I've nearly always been in the top half of the. I guess except for week 1. We don't talk about week 1 anymore, but we've basically been. After the week 4 game, we've not been doing too well. However, we are now in the top half again, and I think actually I'm gonna spoil a bit. So if you don't want to have spoilers, then thank you for watching and see you next time. But I'm gonna spoil a bit. I'm actually the first right now in the half division, which is really unexpected. I'm only 4-2, which is not a good record at all. At least not for. I'm competitive, so it's not. It's a good record. I mean, to be fair, if other people had a record, I would probably say good job. But yeah, for me, I'm not really satisfied with that record. Winning 2 out of the 3 games is not good enough for me. I want to win more. I want to win at least 4 out of 5 games. And right now, I'm not doing that. So I have to work on that. I have to win all of my other matches in my division that are coming up. For that record to be happening. If that happens, if I end up with a 7-2 in the division, then I'm gonna be happy because that's my goal right now. I don't want to lose any other games, and I'm gonna try to not lose any other games, of course. But yeah, this game ended in a 3-0 victory. It means that somehow I clinched the number 1 spot for now. Next week I'm facing, I think, the number 2 actually. So that's gonna be really a really good game against Melon Washington. Really fun guy, but you'll have to see next week. For now, goodbye. Thank you for watching. Check the links out in the description and below. There will be a bunch of links there probably. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do it, but yeah, thanks for watching and see you next time. See you next week.